I come to save the day.
Hey, welcome back to Planet Makusha. In today's video, I'm going to discuss Barack Hussein Obama, political correctness, and his speech after the terrorist attack on June 12, 2016 in Orlando, Florida. Other American presidents have handled tragedy. Let's take a look at the case of FDR and Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, Japanese naval air forces attacked U.S. military forces at Pearl Harbor. The result was the death of 2,335 military personnel and civilians. The attack took place before any formal declaration of war, so the American public was outraged. This is President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's speech in response to the attack.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. Japan has therefore undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
Now for Barack Hussein Obama in Orlando, Florida. On June 12, 2016, a single Islamic terrorist, self-identified, attacked the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. He was armed with a 9mm Glock and an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, not the automatic rifles in some reports. There were 50 dead and 53 wounded. This cannot be considered a surprise attack, as the leader of ISIS declared his intention to attack the U.S. in 2012, and the most recent attack was in December of 2015 in San Bernardino. This is President Barack Hussein Obama's speech in response to this attack.
Today, as Americans, we grieve the brutal murder, a horrific massacre of dozens of innocent people. We pray for their families who are grasping for answers with broken hearts. We stand with the people of Orlando who have endured a terrible attack on their city. Although it's still early in the investigation, we know enough to say that this was an act of terror and an act of hate. And as Americans, we are united in grief, in outrage, and in resolve to defend our people. I just finished a meeting with FBI Director Comey and my Homeland Security and National Security advisors. The FBI is on the scene and leading the investigation in partnership with local law enforcement. I've directed that the full resources of the federal government be made available for this investigation. We are still learning all the facts. This is an open investigation. We've reached no definitive judgment on the precise motivations of the killer. The FBI is appropriately investigating this as an act of terrorism, and I've directed that we must spare no effort to determine what, if any, inspiration or association this killer may have had with terrorist groups. What is clear is that he was a person filled with hatred. Over the coming days, we will uncover why and how this happened.
Let's compare Roosevelt with Obama. FDR expressed anger at the attack, explicitly named the attacker, expressed the will of the American people to fight and ultimately defeat the enemy. Obama expressed sadness and anger and willingness to defend the people. He did not name who was responsible for the attack, nor did he pledge to defeat this enemy. Obama did blame guns and gave a strong defense of multiculturalism. Is it any wonder that a retired military man, such as Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, after a previous Islamic terrorist attack, had this to say about Barack Hussein Obama?
Look, Mr. President, we're not afraid. We're angry. We're pissed off. We're furious.
Yes.
We want you to react. We want you to do something. You're afraid. I mean, this guy is such a total pussy. It's stunning.